Off we go again. Off we go. So this one, this particular dream then is again. This is part of the Bridge series. So this is part three of the Bridge series. This is the first time I've gone through this dream. So this is a dream all to itself. It just forms part of a greater overall theme. I haven't really thought of what to call this, to be honest. I mean, I'm, I'm I'm probably gonna have to come up with an inventive name. I've not really thought about it. I've literally written the description as what is it? Car, really? Car trouble, bridge, roller coaster again. I'm gonna have to come up with a better title than that, but that's what I wrote down. But the first little bit that I write down on this is only in writing only in writing these dreams out have I noticed that a dream of a bridge which matches very closely to this one, which is the 3rd of the 2nd, 2025. And this one is the 3rd of the 4th, 2025. So exactly 2 months between them. I kind of went around, I was like, oh, I really want to see if there's a third of, a third of the third. That would be good. But didn't have anything. Third of the third. Well, third of the third? No, I had some cool stuff though. Did have some cool stuff. Third of the third. No, I didn't have anything. Nothing I wrote down. So that would have been great, wouldn't it? That would have been brilliant to have had something. So it's 3 days, 3 months in a row, all on the same day without me knowing. Again, when you see these things that happen like that, again, it gives you that little confirmation, doesn't it? It's, okay, fair enough. We've got another one about the same thing, and I'm not aware of it. I'm not thinking, oh, I wonder if I'm going to have a bridge dream. I'm not thinking about anything like this, but they happen on the same day. 2 months in between, exactly the same day. It's like, okay, yeah, fair enough. So God's involved in this one as well, then clearly. Okay, so where are we? Yeah. I just realised in my note I said here, same day, 2 months apart. I wonder if there's one in March, but no, I can't see one. Anyway, so I'm gonna read this straight from. Uh, what? Okay. So yeah, okay. All right, I'm going to read it just as it is, because it'll just be so much easier. I mean, reading it all first and then trying to do stuff because I'll end up forgetting stuff. So, if I remind you about the previous one, so I've just done part two. Part two was a zombie apocalypse one where I'd kind of jacked a car, and and basically I was in a convoy. I was right at the back of the convoy. There was a problem with the car, which was a proper banger that I just picked up. The zombie apocalypse. I was just looking for a car that worked. I was happy enough with that. Not necessarily that I had a decent car, and it had an engine light come on. I was kind of plugged into the engine management system via a laptop. I was in the US. Again, it reminded me because of what side it was on. The laptop was on my right. Obviously, in the UK, we drive on the right, or drive on the right hand side of the car, I should say. Um, so, and this one's really similar. And I've only noticed it, as I said, because I was writing out the dream and I thought, hang on a minute, that seems really similar. Because I'm not writing these down 2 months apart. I may be writing them a few days apart, less than a week apart. I'm writing these all down because I was writing them pretty frequently. I was doing just dream after dream after dream. I was writing them down. So you start to see patterns better, you see that way. Whereas if I'm just thinking about, oh, I had a dream about a zombie apocalypse 2 months ago, I'm just not going to remember it, am I? So made the connections more when I was writing these down. Okay, so I was in this one. I'm driving a car, and randomly, I lost power on a bridge. Again, very similar to the previous one, where it was not really power. It was the brakes were dabbing. It was going and I was kind of trying to get going, but it made the car out of control when I went over the edge of the bridge. This is in that previous one I'm just talking about, which is a zombie apocalypse one. This one I was driving, and I just lost power on a bridge that looked pretty much exactly the same as this bridge, and it slowed down from about 70 mile an hour down to about 30. So I know that they're good numbers, sevens and threes. We like those in Christianity, sevens and threes, because they're all over the Bible. But that has actually genuinely happened a lot of the time, where I've had speeds dropping from 70 to about 30, and I've seen the speedo. Sometimes I've just gauged it from roughly how I'm going, as to roughly what the speed is. Sometimes I've seen a speedo, and I've written it down. But this is a rough gauge of about 70 mile an hour. So our national speed limit, the fastest we can go legally, down to 30 mile an hour, which is is literally a residential area. Maximum speed limit is 30, and so. So it's gone from 70 down to 30, and then I ended up having to leave the car. I literally just had to ditch the car on the bridge, and after slowing down to a complete stop at that point, I mean, I got down to 30 quite quickly, I guess, and it just conked out, and I had to, in this one, I had to walk across the rest of the bridge. This one I was on my own, actually. So there was no convoys, there was no one else with me, I don't think, on this one. Yeah, interesting. Okay, so again, like I mentioned, hopefully you'll hear in my videos occasionally I'll say the word transparency. I certainly said it in the last one, I'm saying it again now, because it's a car dream and I've had some problems with the car that I drive. It's not an old banger. Well, depends how you look at it, I suppose. But this one, so for the background then, so for transparency, so the day of, oh, hang on a minute, when this happened. Yeah, so when I'd actually, hang on a minute, sorry, no, I'll just quickly. I don't know whether this is the day. This might be the day of the actual dream, or when I wrote it. I haven't actually made myself clear, but I've written down for background. Today I did speak with my dad. He had engine management problems with his Jaguar. I've got an Audi. I think this may well have been the same day of the dream, or something like that. This may well have been my note rather than a note I've added into my dream journal to do with when I wrote it. Okay, I'm not 100% sure, to be honest, but let's say worst case scenario. There was an engine management problem with my dad's car that we discussed on the phone back in April. So 3rd of the 4th, 2025. Okay, so a Jaguar. Now, what happens with his Jaguar is it actually shuts down some of the cylinders on the engine to protect the engine against any kind of damage, because if the engine light comes on, obviously there's a problem with the engine of sorts. So it goes into what's called like a safety mode, and it roughly takes him down to 30 mile an hour. So this could have obviously had an impact on my dream. Oh, there we go. Sorry, there, I clarify it there. Could have had an impact on my dream. Plus, I had my own engine management light that came on yesterday. So there we go. We've got a date of it. So engine management light came on yesterday. So the 2nd of April. Right. Cool. Okay. So when I had that original dream, that was basically like a 2 months heads up, wasn't it? Really, God gave me on an engine management problem with a car. Ends up being my car. Actually, I remember that now. I have had an engine management thing with like a previous car, but I haven't had any problems. I haven't had anything at all with the car I've got. This is the first time it's happened. So yeah, that was like almost like giving me a heads up, again, like a prophetic kind of thing. Was that this car in the zombie apocalypse, which was back in on the 3rd of the 2nd, 2025. At that point, I hadn't actually had any problems with the car, no engine management lights at all, but that did come on in that dream. Now, 2 months later, engine management light comes on my car. 2 months later, well, literally the day before this dream ended up happening, which is, as I said, April. So yeah, 2 months on. I'm labouring that a bit, aren't I? Yeah, so before the event. So yeah, one day after obviously talking about it, yeah, which is crazy. My dad was talking about this engine management thing, and I'm thinking, oh, that sounds rubbish. That sounds annoying. And then it actually happens to be the next day. Comes on for me the day before it. So anyway, I think that's probably what must have sparked the conversation with my dad. So I have I have stacks and stacks and stacks and stacks and stacks of car dreams, loads of them. As I said, I've mentioned before, flat tires, engine management lights, brake problems. I've even had ones where the tires are replaced with a big roller, like a bulldozer. What's it called? Those steamroller sort of things. I've had some crazy, weird dreams. Loads of car dreams. Loads and loads and loads of car dreams. Um, and I've had navigational problems. Yeah, that's a good. I've had a lot of navigational problems, which is probably, I don't know. Again, these are probably things that I'm either picking up subconsciously, or again God's trying to uh, to get across to me. Anyway, so this time, yeah, so yeah, mini car dreams. This time it was an actual diagnosable car problem, I guess. So rather than mainly navigational problems, this was a proper problem. I could see it was an engine management problem in this dream. There's another dream. It's a very, very brief snippet because, as I said, I mentioned roller coaster on it. But I thought it was perfect to actually put this in because obviously part of this series, the very part one, was Demonic Theme Park, which had obviously stuff like that. This one has a roller coaster in it. So a brief part of the dream of a roller coaster that I was queuing up for. Again, theme parks, coasters, this sort of stuff seems to be coming up quite a bit. Now, I did have another one which I have already put online on my YouTube, which is called something like something to do with a clone, demonic clone, I think it's called, something like that. Where I was queuing up for a roller coaster, I think, on that one. So again, I don't know why I'm queuing up for roller coasters. I'm sure that must have some sort of meaning. Again, I don't think about it. I don't actually like going to theme parks anymore. I feel like it sounds a bit maybe a bit yeah, sounds a bit bad, but yeah, I just kind of feel like I've grown out of it now. Like the adrenaline sort of is just, I just don't get that same adrenaline buzz anymore. So it just doesn't do anything for me really anymore. So I'm just not that fussed about it. So um, yeah, so as I said, I'm so something to do with roller coasters. Again, yeah, theme parks, coasters, all that sort of stuff seems to be coming up a lot in my dreams, and often they feel very unsafe. Again, feel very unsafe. That was interesting about the demonic theme park one, where there was a ride where, as I've put literally just sort of filmed, there was people strapped to the outside of the plane. I actually gave you a video on that which actually came up in wildly came up as I was writing the dream down in the journal months after it happened. I ended up watching a film that was literally about that. Crazy. So my overall thoughts. So yeah. So as I said, like typing in the keyword bridge. So this is the moment where I'm here in my dream journal. I realised there's a connection between bridges. So I typed in. Here we go. Yeah, so typing in bridge in my search across all of my notes that I have on my phone reveals a lot of dreams. A lot of my dreams have bridges in, hence the series. As I mentioned, at the beginning, I had a dream 2 months ago, which was obviously about a car falling off the bridge. But in the other one, in this one, the car failing on the bridge, but in the other one, going off the side of the bridge and plummeting, and it was involved in. It had an engine management light that came on. 8th of the 1st, 2025. So again, I'm just doing them by date. Actually, I had a dream of going over a bridge, and there was a pothole. So this is so cool. This is the Flintstone one that was in the part one. So this is my identifying that part one. Then we've got the rope bridge. So that is identifying, the demonic theme park. And then 20th of the 5th, is the one which is I've filmed already, which was part of, as I said, the Quarter Thief series, but is also now part of the Bridge series as well. But that's the one that's the thief in the night one, which is that 2 hour. That's a long one. I'm going to try and I want to add a few bits on that, in honesty, because I know I didn't quite, despite the 2 hours, there was still something I wanted to say in there that I didn't say, and I want to put that onto the next one. Okay, so that one. So bridges everywhere. Again, hopefully this was interesting. I don't think it was quite as interesting the last one, was it? I really liked the one that had the bees in it. I thought that was superb. But as I said, you can see roller coasters in there, just a titchy bit, not that there was much to it. And obviously car trouble again on a bridge. going to do another one. I'm going to have to wait to actually do this one because I've pretty much rinsed out the maximum I can do on my phone. I've not got much time left on it, and this follow-up one is going to be a little bit longer. Or will it be? Let's see. Okay,